All right, I started recording. I think we're recording. Does everybody see the little recording button? Yep, we're recording.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys, if you're going to chart a lot, make sure you get a good wrist pad. My wrist has been bothering me because of wrist pad for a while. I've done data entry, played the piano and all kind of things for years. And never had any problems, but boy, I started trading Forex. So what I do, guys, every week
What
is
did you say? Find a good what, Gigi?
wrist rest, something to go under your wrist, like with your mouse. So when you're clicking and moving around, carpal tunnel is caused by people cutting off the circulation, restrictive movement, like when people rest their wrist on top of like a computer or like a desk and it's cutting off that circulation and pinching your nerves. You start getting that numbness and tingling in your fingers. Like many years ago, I had to teach ergonomics, and that was one of improperly holding your hand and like letting it lay on something hard and sharp that's cutting off the blood flow and things like that in your hand. All right, so guys, I'll go through a few charts, and then if some of you want to mark up, that's fine. But what I do on Saturdays is I go through each pair and I mark them up from scratch unless they're already doing something. I'll just clean up my charts. I look on the daily for the bigger moves. Like this would have been perfect. Look at that move. That was a good double top up there, actually triple top. Just a W, now it's coming back down. So I've been trying to catch this from the top. Went and missed it. Oh my gosh. Let's see. From here down to here would have been a good 280 pip move off the 4 hour. And let's see. That's still that same zone. So 280 pips, we could have caught off that. Looking left, we don't see anything. And looking on the monthly, if we caught it and it continued to drop from where it was, we could get a 500 pip move. That would have been sweet. That's what I really wanted to catch on this pair. If it's going to fall 500 pips, it's not too late to catch this. You would wait for correction and get in. That if it broke this support, it would fall. But this is a very strong area to break, as you see, every time it's touched it. I'm going to mute everybody since we're recording. If you have a question, you can unmute. Okay. But just looking at the structure of this, you can see every time it hits this area, it's shooting back up. It made a perfect impulse, correction, shot up. But we also see every time it gets here, it's breaking back down. Okay. So eventually we're going to get that complete breakdown all the way down here for this. So it could hit this and go up. If it does, guys, make sure you catch the sell from the top, because like I said, if it falls on the weekly, we could end up getting a 500 pip drop all the way down to here. Mama. Hey, good morning, beautiful. Come here. Mama. What, baby? I don't speak 2-year-old, baby. You'll have to come tell grandma what you're saying. All right, so that's all good. Grandbabies are awake now. And most of these odd pairs are doing basically the same thing. If you look at the higher time frame, you want what, baby? Okay, give grandma a few minutes, okay? Look, they never wake up this early. So now that I'm awake charting, they're gonna wake up. But yeah, if you look at all these odd pairs, they're basically doing the same thing. If you look at a weekly, you got the impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation, correction, going all the way down. So just like this pair here, if you catch it, that's a good 300 pip move. Looking on the monthly, that one, once it gets here at the bottom, this would be a good buy zone, because as we see, the last time it was here. Got a good 1,300 pip move. So it came a little bit lower than the previous low. Just barely. Just a few pips. But we can start looking to buy this one. I wouldn't expect this for another week or two. See, we got an impulse correction. If we sell it all the way down, then once it gets here, we can start looking for the buy up. Even if it just buys back up to this area, that would be a good 450 pip move. Let me close the door. Daddy's got the babies. Sky, everybody was asking how's your ear. Say thank you. All right, so is that making sense to everybody so far? Why I'm saying we could continue to get a sell on these, looking at the higher time frame. Because remember, I'm a swing trader, and if you look, all of these AUD pairs are doing the same thing. Even now, AUD NZD is a little bit different because AUD and NZD run a lot the same. It could go up quicker than the others, but it's making a channel here. You got an impulse. Let's see. And it's making a corrective move. So it's bouncing in this channel. So we're buyers here and sellers here. But because it's making a corrective move to the upside, we can expect it to finally get here and push all the way back down. This is the last time it pushed up back in April 2015. 1,300 pips. And I know everybody has been buying this from the bottom, but to me, that's why it hasn't really given us a good push up, because it still has one more drop to make to bring us down to this area here. Okay. And of course, it's making what we know is a flag, and a flag going to the upside. We expect a breakdown to the downside. And then maybe we can finally get that upside move. But just looking at this on a monthly, it's making a monthly flag. And that's going to take a while. Well, you got a pretty good weekly flag going on here. Sell, buy, sell, buy. Me, since I'm expecting it to sell one more time, I would need to see a good, see, we got an impulse here. It made an ascending channel, which we know is a reversal pattern. And that's just coming right back down. So it's been unable to break this every time it moves up. All right. This making sense to everybody?
Yes.
All right, so all of the odd,
yes, a lot of sense.
all of the odd pairs are basically doing the same. Now just remember, because they're all doing the same, doesn't mean it's going to happen at the same time. Like odd NZD looks like it could shoot up before any of the others. And what you would want to do is look at Forex Factory and see if you have any odd news for the week that would move any of these pairs. Okay. So whenever I start looking at a pair that I want to trade, I'll go over here to my filter. If I want to just look at odd pairs, news that's going to be on odd, I could do that. So we're going to see anything that says money, you're going to see strong movement. Monday at 7:30 p.m. That's West Coast, that's Pacific. So 10:30 p.m. I think on the East Coast. This is real, wait, no, backwards. Is it 4:30? Yeah, because we are, okay. These time zones get me mixed up. So whatever time on the East Coast, make sure your clock up here is with your time zone. I think it's 2 o'clock where you guys are. So yeah, 7:30 East Coast. So it would be 4:30 West Coast. So I didn't change my Forex Factory because I knew I would be back home next week. And I have it set with my computer. Let me look. Yeah, it's only 11 a.m. here. All right, so you'll definitely get odd movement on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. All of this is red folder, and it involves monetary policies. Employment change is always a big mover. So like if you wanted to catch all CAD, it would move that day. And then there's also red folder CAD news on Wednesday and Friday. So that's going to be a very volatile pair this week. Let's see, CAD, don't have a projection yet. AUD is expected to get stronger according to these rates, but we know that even though it gets stronger, that they'll use the market to move it the way they want to move it. So since that's saying AUD is going to get stronger with the news, we can see it sell back down to here and then buy from the bottom during news. So always check your news before you get in any of these trades. All right. CAD. Let's see, it broke out of my zone. Wow. Yep. On the higher time frame, we had impulse correction, continuation correction. We're getting a we got our continuation. I missed that one too. Because I even though I chart everything, I don't trade everything. And see, if you keep everything charted up, you can go back and see how your charts played out. And as you see, even though I didn't trade any of these pairs, every single one of them has played out the way I had them charted up. So it's important to keep everything charted because you never know. Like if you come here and you see this at the bottom, you definitely want to start looking for the buy opportunities. And you see it got right down here. It didn't get all the way down to this wick and it started buying up. For that reason, I'm thinking it could stay at one of these zones and then sell back off and give us a good buy. I'm gonna tell you guys, watch this pair because after one or two more pushes up, we could see a big sell-off. We see, always know where you are regardless of the time frame. On the weekly, what kind of trend are we in?
Downtrend.
Down.
Yes. So on the weekly, we're in a downtrend, so we're getting impulse correction, continuation correction, continuation correction. So any buys that we see on the daily are what?
Correction.
Right. There, even though it's a strong buy on the daily, it's just a correction to this strong sell on the weekly. Always know where you are in the market. Okay. So each time frame has to create a flag or a pattern, either a reversal pattern or a continuation pattern. So we had an impulse here, which was an aggressive move. Then we had a corrective move. When something's correcting up, we expect a move to the downside. And that's exactly what it gave us. So whenever you're charting, make sure you pay close attention to what each time frame is doing. Here, when it sold off, let's see how many pips we caught. Okay, 1,000. Both times it was like a little over 1,100 pips. From this one, it sold off almost 700 pips. So if we get this back up here again to like here and it sells off, that's a good 600 pip move. Or if it comes up here, that would coincide with this zone. I got a little lag going on back here. We could get about 750 pips. So we're not looking to sell this just yet. It did make an impulse and a correction, which is just due on a lower time frame. Remember, every time frame is going to have the impulse, correction, continuation. So even though on the daily we got an impulse, it's not showing the correction on the daily, but it's showing where it's already making that correction here on the lower time frames. Okay. So when this comes back and makes the correction, if it comes down correctively, look to buy one more time. We'll get it come back to about here, get 140 pips. If it sells here aggressively, hold it. If it sells here correctively, we'll get one more buy. Okay. Euro AUD, I made some money on this pair this week. I sold it from up here, and then I bought it from down here. See, when it hit this and bounced up, it didn't push off aggressively enough to break, and it came back down. I closed my sell here, because it had been bouncing in this channel. I could have held it. Let's see how many pips I left on the table. I left 60 pips on the table by closing out here. See why I closed out. I closed out because it had started bouncing up. I could have gotten here. I saw this impulse correction continuation. I didn't know if it was going to continue to break here. So I just took my money. So it's better to take your money and not leave any. So I got about 140 pips. Could have got 200 pips on that move, but I got out based on where it had been pushing up here. But when I saw this descending channel on the lower time frame, I did get in for a buy. And you see it's still moving. Impulse correction, continuation correction, continuation. This right here, I wasn't sure what it was going to do, so I closed my buy.
Gigi, you mentioned a minute ago if it sells, correctively hold. What was that? Those two ways you said?
You only hold if it's moving aggressively to your.
Okay.
If you're in a sell, you want to see aggressive sells. Okay, you do not want to see corrective sells.
Okay.
If it starts correcting, and it's going to go back up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I hadn't heard anybody say that before, and I wanted to make sure I write it down.
You're getting the juice from Gigi this morning.
And I've got me a book to read when I'm out for Christmas, that Candlestick Bible or whatever it's called.
I'll tell you now, I don't pay attention to candlesticks. I really don't. The only candle that makes any matter to me is a bullish or bearish engulfing. Engulfing candles on a higher time frame, especially. Let me show you something. You got a bearish engulfing here. Because you got that bearish engulfing, ended up getting a 660 pip drop.
Okay.
Bearish and bullish engulfing candles. Just think engulfing candle.
Okay.
So here, when it pushed off, it didn't push off and engulf. So you just got a corrective move and it came right back down. This one still has an engulfed, which lets me think we could see one more sell down if it doesn't break. You know, it could break it and bring it back down to this area and then push up. Okay, or this area. But right now it hasn't broken down aggressively. It's still, if you look at this on the 4 hour, what can you tell about it? You really can't tell much, right?
Right.
But if you look at this weekly, what is that telling me?
We know it's going to fall at some point.
Right, it's moving up correctively in a channel. You don't see any aggressive movement going up.
No.
This is an aggressive buy. This was impulse correction, continuation correction, continuation correction, continuation, a deeper correction. That just let me know. These two told me that my monthly was due a flag. I'll bet you anything this is like a monthly flag. Let's see. Yep.
Yeah.
Down correctively, now it's moving up correctively. So my bias overall is to see this thing sell because of the way it's moving up. See how it's moving up?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to go that far back. So if you can catch a sell from the top, definitely hold it. But you see how smaller you're getting exhaustion here? There's no strong moves happening at all.
Right. Right.
Okay. No strong moves at all. I wish I had recorded this to the cloud. I don't know why I recorded it to the computer, but anyway. So my bias on Euro AUD is I'm taking short-term buys, but I'm looking for long-term sells. And I only take short-term buys when they're going to produce over. If I'm expecting over 100 pips, I'll take it. So that was like a 200 pip move. And I took it because of the way it was falling. And I know that I'm going to overall sell on a higher time frame. I closed out. Okay. EuroCAD has been moving funky. But look at that. It's moving correctively on every time frame. There's like, this was the last aggressive movement. You had an impulse, correction, continuation, correction, continuation. Then you had an impulse, correction, continuation. I bet you anything that's a descending channel on a lower time frame. On the daily, I'm sure that was a nice impulse, correction, continuation. It's a little ascending channel, sold off, made a W and pushed up, but now it's falling down correctively. So this is another one. Most of these euro pairs are in a channel. So I'm looking for buy opportunities here because it could buy up 1,600 pips. All right. But on the higher time frame, this is an impulse and this is moving up correctively. But still, it hasn't broken out of that zone aggressively enough to bring us back down to the bottom. This was an aggressive move. This was an aggressive move. This was an aggressive move. Oh, this is going correctively. So if we see some rejection and some buy opportunities on EuroCAD, and it's going to come with either Euro or CAD news, that's like a good 1,600 pip move to the upside if it goes up that far. So right now, look at how this is moving. There's like no structure there. You definitely can't look at this on a 1 hour and trade it. The 4 hour isn't giving much either, but once this gets down to this zone where it pushes up, I'm going to start paying attention. You see, it keeps trying to push up, but it's just trading itself into, there's another corrective channel going on up here inside a corrective channel. So you have patterns inside of patterns. Okay. But you see our sales, when we get the sales, it's giving us cleaner sales than it's giving us buys right now. Here it was buying up, but it reached the top of that zone and it's selling back down. So if you got a corrective pattern inside of a pattern, it comes back down to here, I'll pay attention to either here or it could sell off back down to previous support. Right now it came closer to, let's see, right there. It came to this one, pushed back up. So if it breaks that one, it'll hit here and it'll hit here. It's just like steps. But the way it's moving right now, the only way I'm going to look to trade it is if I get some good clean movement on a lower time frame. Your Swiss franc is selling down. It should get to at least here. If it gets down to here, that would be a great move. All right. This right here was a setup. That's market manipulation. The Swiss franc had been pegged for years and they just unpegged it one day without telling everybody. And it just tanked all in one day. It's like it crushed. It broke people that day. This could fall down another 1,240 pips to go in and fill in this void. This is called a liquidity void. This means that there were people who were buying in this market and their orders did not get filled. And it just created this huge void. So it came in and filled in this liquidity void here, got filled in, okay? So now it could sell back down to fill in this area right here. Everybody knows with Euro, Great British Pound, we've been buyers from the bottom, but if the Great British Pound gets stronger, this will keep selling. Look at that. You got an impulse and a correction. Just came out of this channel. Even though this is a pattern to give you buys to the upside, if you look at this on a higher time frame, if it breaks this, we could, if the GBP pairs push up to their monthly highs, this is going to drop all the way down here. Euro, Great British Pound. When pound is strong, it drops. When pound is weak, it sells. So what you can do is look at the Great British Pound by itself. And right now their elections are finalized. They're talking about going out of Brexit. And if you look, I think Great British Pounds, after they correct, could push us back up to here, which means that Euro, Great British Pound would definitely sell off. You got an aggressive move, but it got here and exhausted. So on the pound pairs, they gave us impulse, correction, continuation. Look at that. They pushed up so hard. They need a correction right now. All right, Euro, JPY. Impulse correction, continuation correction. No surprise that we got a continuation, and no surprise that it got here and rejected. So it looks like we could get a correction on this time frame. And wow, look at there it is. So if you're gonna sell this, like we got this reversal pattern before it even sold off. So all it did was push up into a previous daily high on a higher time frame. It was our impulse. It got to a previous high, to a reversal pattern, and now it's correcting. So let's see. Dang, that had to be some type of news. I remember it happening Friday on all JPY pairs. Fell 123 pips. Don't sell unless you get a flag, because on the higher time frame, it is an overall buy. On the daily, on the weekly, it's still a sell. So if you sell, you want to sell from the top. If you had caught that sell from the top, you'd be sitting in pretty good shape, because it could come all the way down to here. But I think we'll get one more push up before we get that, because it's creating a weekly flag. But if you catch that sell, that's a good 1,300 pip move to the downside. And we see the higher time frame is definitely a sell down to here on the weekly. But then on the monthly, that's a buy zone. On the monthly, if it gets down to there, we could catch over 2,000 pips to the upside. That's why you have to analyze every time frame. If you're selling on the lower time frame, you need to know where it could possibly reverse on the higher time frame. Euro NZD, it's at the bottom of a channel on the higher time frame. This is an impulse correction. Because this fell correctively, what could we possibly see? This fell correctively, not aggressively. What could we possibly see?
An impulse up.
Right. Okay, so let's see what it's doing on the lower time frame. So it's trying to buy off and failed. We got an impulse, but it hasn't made it out yet. So I would set alerts on this. This is one. Take that off. I definitely want to mark that one. I got an alert set already. Because if we catch this, you see how the last time it was here, it gave us a good strong push to the upside of 1,000 pips. Now it could break it and come down a little bit lower. These channels aren't perfect. Nothing is perfect. It could come down in this area and then push up. So don't get in too early. Wait for confirmation. You see here, you got a nice impulse correction. It pushed up. Got an ascending channel, which pushed it back down. Then here you see an impulse correction. That's probably on like the 30-minute or the hour right there. If you zoom in on it on the lower time frame, you'll see it. It pushed it all the way up. So overall, on the higher time frame, it's a sell, but because it's in this corrective pattern, we could get one more push up. If it sells, it could sell all the way back down. To here would be 400 pips, 600 pips, 2,300 pips. See how easy this gets, guys? Doesn't it just look so easy once you just do it over and over again? The same thing. There's nothing new in the market. People be talking about they got these new strategies and new this and new that. Market's been doing the same thing forever. All right, this is in a descending channel, so we're looking to buy from the bottom every time. It didn't break out, so we'll try and catch it from the bottom again. Too easy, right? It's moving down. Is this moving down aggressively or correctively?
Correctively.
So we expect to break out to which direction?
Upside.
Okay, so if you're trading Euro USD, you want to see what the dollar is doing. The dollar started selling off, is why Euro USD went up. But look where the dollar is. It's inside of channel. If this pushes back up, that Euro USD is going to drop one more time. And it looks like it's already dropping. So whenever the dollar starts dropping, Euro USD will go up. When the dollar's going up, Euro USD is going to go down. Pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yet. I wish I had got in on this 50, but it's coming back down. On all these GBP pairs, they're doing the exact same thing. We got an impulse, we're getting corrections, and we'll look to buy the continuations. If you're not already selling from the top, don't try to sell now. Every single one of them are doing the exact same thing. Now, let me take this off. I had to put this on here to show somebody something. Let me take it off. Do you think it is just luck that it came to here? Look where it stopped. Do you think that is luck? Like I tell people, it's not magic, it's market structure. Okay?
Right.
And it rejected as soon as it hit it. That's what you call market manipulation. That's what you call a liquidity run. There was liquidity sitting in this area right here. All of this is liquidity. The reason it's called liquidity is because every time people get to this area, they're thinking it's going to break it and make that new high. So they start creating buy orders, or they have pending sell orders. Like the people who think it's going to buy, they'll put a pending buy right above the previous high. So they'll shoot through there, activate their previous buy, then sell the market off. Another reason it's called liquidity is because there's people who are like, well, every time it gets here, it sells. So they'll put a sell order here. They'll hit that sell order and then push it 30, 50 pips past that and take their money too. So they'll do a raid on these areas and they'll take everybody's money and then fall back down. And it's the same thing on the lows. When it comes to the bottom, whenever it gets near this bottom, it's going to take off running. You'll see whenever they get near those liquidity areas, they take off running, they tap it, and they stop like they hit a brick wall. Okay. But all the GBP pairs are doing that. They're all doing the exact same thing because the predominant sell, the predominant move, the predominant currency is the GBP. So they're all going to do the same thing, but not at the exact same time. This one here, I think we could get one more push up on GN because this right here had our impulse correction. Y'all know this was my play of the week. This was the one I kept saying I won, and this is the one I got. That's why you don't need to trade everything. When you can get 400 or 500 pips off of a move, you don't need everything. Now look where it pulled back to. It pulled back right here at this exact area. You tested it, and now you're going to get your buy up. Okay. It could come down one more time and retest it. Pay attention to these zones. You can slap a fib on this. It could come down to the 61.8 in this area, but be looking for a buy continuation on that one again, because if you look at the higher time frame, you see why I hate leaving this on here, because you can't see anything. If it comes back and buys off of that area one more time, you could still get another 400 pip move, okay? And I expect it, you see how it came right here before and tapped out? I expect it to do it again. But from here to up there is 400 pips, so it's not a bad trade. NZD pairs are all doing basically the same. I think I had taken my chart off this one because I was teaching someone, so let me chart it up again. All right, on the monthly, what do we look for?
Highs and lows.
Right.
Swing low, swing.
Right. Our swing lows and our swing highs. Let's take this right here. On the weekly, what do we look for?
Trend.
Right, the current trend. All right. Would you say we're in a current downtrend or uptrend on the weekly? This is where people get confused.
Lower time frame.
Okay, on this, are we on a buy or sell?
We're buying actually, but overall it's going down for week to week.
So the trend right now on the weekly is still a downtrend because it has not taken out our previous high. This right here looks like the previous high. It has not come and taken that out. On the daily, yes, we are in a buy. But if we're in a daily on the buy and a sell on the weekly, what can we expect the daily to eventually do?
It should sell off again.
Sell.
I would pay attention. Let's see, it hit that wick area right there. If it breaks through that one, it could get up to there. So, but it's looking like it's due a sell, and I am in a sell, but it's not falling aggressively. So it could come, it's just moving choppy. It'll move like this until we get some of that NZD or CAD news. Then it'll, let's see. Let's look at NZD CAD. So NZD news Monday, 7 p.m. So we'll get a good move Monday, and then again Wednesday and Friday. So let's see what we think it will do. Got an ascending channel, so I sold. Business confidence, it'll move it, but not crazy, I don't think. They're projecting a minus, well, the last time was a minus 26, which made the NZD pairs drop. So we'll wait and see what the forecast is. GDP, they're expecting that not to change. Whenever you see something, they're predicting it not to change. If it doesn't change much, they'll just push the market in the direction of the current market structure. So this one right here, I'm just going to sell it until I see a pattern that tells me not to. Right now, we're getting a good, they had an ascending channel. Inside that ascending channel, we had an impulse correction, continuation correction. We're getting a continuation, so I'll just trail my stop loss on that one. But it came up to a previous wick and stopped. It went just enough above it to take out stop losses. So let's see how many pips that was. About 30 pips. How many pips do most people put their stop loss? About 30 to 50, right? So from here to up here, it went, look at that, almost exactly 30 pips from where this was. Yes, ma'am. Can I help you, little girl? You want a diaper for mommy? Okay. Here you go. Close the door, okay? I love you. All right, bye. All right. You gotta love being a grandparent. You can send them straight to their mom and daddy. Now, I love my grandkids. Just joking. Is it any? It's no surprise that we got here and it's starting to sell off because you're in an impulse, a corrective channel. So this could prove to be a good sell. I already broke out of there. We can look for a continuation pattern. And this from there down to here is 240 pips. Comes down to here, 340 pips. Let's see what the weekly is looking like. If it comes all the way back down to this, you're looking at a good 800 pip move. Okay, that's one you might want to watch for the week. NJ, that's definitely one you want to watch. If it just breaks down to here, you got 600 pips. If it breaks down to here, you got 1,500 to 1,800. Oh boy, and if it breaks down to that, let's see, got 2,800. But it's definitely, see how when you keep your charts marked up, you don't have to do much. I haven't touched this since last Saturday. Well, maybe I did because I see a little, I put that. That's the only thing I put since last Saturday. I didn't have to put anything else because I had my area here marked off where I could see a reversal. And guess what it did? It came right into that area. I always draw my flags or my ascending channels into those areas just in case it makes it up to there. I'll know that that's a prime area to sell, but it sold before that. Now, if this pushes up again, I'll put me some alerts to try and catch this from up here. But we don't know until it makes the pattern. If it makes a corrective pattern, we can enter to continue selling. If it moves correctively up, we can look to sell from the top again. NZD USD, doing the same thing. If the dollar gets stronger, this is going to drop. Let's see. I had it in alert jail, but I didn't take it because I was already in some other trades that pushed up to here. So I'm going to go and move this to that candle right there. You see this wick right here? And this wick right here, basically in the same price range. So let's see what happens. It's not moving aggressively enough. We really don't have a good bearish engulfing candle. So I could see that push up one more time and sell it again from the high. So even though it's selling off, I think we could see one more little push back up in here and then sell. We don't have the strong aggressive move yet. If you got in from the top, you should be fine. Just, move your stop loss. Make sure it's right above here. And we could look to sell that again. Let's see back where we were. This wick right here. If it pushes past that, it could come back up there again. So I got that little area boxed in to look to sell from there. USD CAD is going to follow the dollar. You see the pattern that the DXY was on? You see the same thing happening on the USD pairs, okay? So if that DXY pushes up in this channel again, you could get one more push up on USD CAD. Overall, we are sellers of USD CAD because if you look, you have an impulse, correction, continuation, correction. So you want to sell at every opportunity you get from the higher part of the channel, unless you get an aggressive break. If you get an aggressive break out of here, then you could sell it down another 1,100 pips, okay? Again, these zones, if you drag them to the left, excuse me, wrong one, it's right here. If you were to drag it to the left, you'd see it just comes to the same zones all the time, okay? So if you didn't catch it from the top, be careful. It could hit here and reverse again. Protect your profits. And if it pushes up, look to sell from the top again. See what it's doing on the lower time frame. Looks like it's going to come down and give us another touchdown here at the bottom, maybe. If you want to buy this, it will move with the dollar. You could see another 600 pips. This is a 600 pip channel each way. You're getting 500 to 700 pips. So just be careful because the overall trend is a downtrend because we're expecting the dollar to drop, especially with GBP pairs pushing up, the dollar will drop. USD Swiss franc, I hate this pair. However, it gave a perfect setup last week. It's here in this little channel. It finally broke out of there, came down to here, but started giving us resistance because we see the dollar stopped and it looks like it might go back up. So this one, if you get an opportunity, sell it again from here for a nice 200 pips. All right, UJ, gonna do the same thing. You got an impulse, look for a correction, then you could sell it again from the top on the higher time frame. You see every time it hits that area, I'd put these here to give people a visual. I was teaching someone. Every time it hits that area, we get a good sell. Okay. So if we catch that sell, from about here down to here, good 500 pip move. And then when it gets down in this area, we could see a buy again. So we don't know what it's going to do until it gets ready to do it. But from here down to here would be a good 500 pips. So you look at the weekly, you can see it get back here and bounce up again. Now the weekly, you got an impulse, a corrective move going down. So it could get here and give you a nice push back to the upside, especially if the dollar gets stronger than the yen, 2,500 pips. So we just play it one trade at a time, one time frame at a time. Yes, the Mexican has traded itself into a channel. I don't even know what I charted this thing. Okay, now I remember. On the 15-minute, it was making little impulse corrections. Let's try the 30-minute here. There you go. But on the higher time frame, it's going to either have to break out here or here. When something's in the middle like this, I don't like to trade it. If I get a good indication on the lower time frame to enter a buy, it would have to be a strong buy because it's still just dropping down. All right. But every time it gets here, it's buying up. So it's in a really weird zone right now. So just be careful with this one if you trade it, because it could go either way. It's not giving anything aggressive right now to give us a clear indication of where it could go. It's just oozing down. And when they're oozing down with no correction, you could get caught up trying to sell it. But like right here is a good buy area. All right, silver. I'm waiting to see if it's going to break out of this and continue up or sell back down. On the daily, if you look, it's going impulse correction, continuation correction, continuation correction, continuation. But if you look at the weekly, that was a big impulse, and this has been a big correction. It's coming back down here. This is the candle that got engulfed, that created the buy. So it could tap into this candle and then shoot up, which would be a really good move. Pay attention to this candle right here, this area on the daily. You see you got the equal lows going on here. It broke through it, equal low, equal low, equal low, then took off. Okay. And right here, it's already created 2 daily equal lows. If it does that again and taps into this area, I'm going to start looking to buy. Gold is still impulse correction, but look at all these equal lows it's made here. If it comes back down to here, I'll focus on this candle right here. If it breaks through that, and look to buy from this area. If it keeps rejecting here on the lower time frame, I'll look to buy down here, because every time it gets here, you see before, this is that where I kept getting my entries from my buy out of this zone before. I want to see it do something like that again here. Got an impulse, it's moving correctively. So look for buys from the lower, higher time frame areas, okay? Because on the higher time frame, we're in a buy. On the lower time frame, yes, it's selling, but it's already giving us signs that it could go up. But I think because the dollar is fluctuating up and down, we could see this, stay in this channel until the dollar does something clear. Bitcoin, if you look at it on the overall higher time frame, the last time it was here, it went up a lot, like 75,000 pips. It went from the 6,000 price to over 13,000, which is more than double its price. US 30, It's at an all-time high. Any sales, I would just pay close attention to these areas because the market is strong right now. You want to see something aggressive break before you would get a sell off. So short-term sales can make you a lot of money on US 30, but just be careful because the overall trend is still a buy. So if you catch something like this, that's a good sell, but always be careful of these zones. Like right here, I would be careful, and then down here, I would be careful. USD try, I don't know when I marked it up last, but it's doing the same thing. If you remember, USD Mexican is doing the exact same thing. Exotics move very similar. USD ZAR on the higher time frame, impulse correction continuation, had a little descending channel here, which gave us a push to the upside. I'm looking, if it sells, again, there's that candle that got engulfed. Right there. If it breaks past this point, I'll start looking into here to buy. As you see, this area right here, it keeps testing it and stopping, creating those equal lows. It did a run on the liquidity that was under equal lows and over equal highs. You always have liquidity. It came in just enough to tap into it. So we could see this go up, then down, then up. Okay. And that's basically it. Anybody got any questions on anything? Nope, no questions. Everybody's good?
That was awesome.
That was
Gigi.
good, Gigi.
Do you ever compare US 30 and the DXY? Do they move the same?
The DXY is the dollar, US 30 stocks.
Yes, but I'm just saying since
No,
possibly on
I don't. I just look at the market structure.
yeah, okay.
Nelson.
And at what point do you use rankers when you're doing your analysis?
When I want to swing trade or if I'm unclear of a pattern.
Okay.
Anybody else got any questions? Anything y'all want to look at? Need further guidance on? See, I just got my whole week done with you guys on it. See how quick you can mark up the charts? People, I'm gonna tell you, when I first started marking up, and I went over more than 30. When I first started marking up charts, it took me forever. I ain't even gonna lie. But now you see how quick you can go through the market? Just too easy. And you'll get there.
How soon can we get the recording, Gigi, please? I want to do that today.
Give me some love. Give me a love offering. I'm gonna send you my cash app. No, I'm kidding. if I had recorded it to my, I should have recorded it to my Zoom like I did Thursday night. Then it would have been available in like the next few minutes. I don't know why I didn't, because it's early and I'm still sleepy. But whenever it processes, I might reuse. Remember our old Telegram? I might start reusing it to upload videos.
Okay, no problem.
And if not, I'll just do it to YouTube. Do y'all like better? Y'all like the YouTube or that Zoom link?
I do.
I like Zoom.
Okay, the next time I'll record to Zoom, this one I'm going to have to either put on Telegram or YouTube.
Hey, Gigi. Can we get the recording from, was it Thursday?
I posted it. I can't, I'm on the military owns this computer, so I can't pull up Discord. But under Discord, it says zoom.us/recording. That's an invite. It says ChartNChill. That's the actual replay from Thursday night.
Oh, okay. So that last posting is the actual recording.
Let me look at my phone. I mean, my iPad. I still don't have a phone, guys. 9 days ago.
You better get to Verizon and go ahead and face it.
We're going today. We're going today.
I know it's torture.
My daughter, I've been out here with my daughter and we've been busy. So let me look in Discord under recorded team training videos. It says tonight's chart and chill. And it's .us/recording.
All right, thank you. I thought that was still the Zoom poster.
Y'all see how easy it is to go to the market? I said, it's not gonna take me long to mark up. Let me just get everybody on. Do a little bit of teaching while I do this. Hopefully it helped you guys.
Yes, appreciate it. Go ahead and spend time with your family. Appreciate you, Gigi. And have a safe trip.
These babies.
Back.
I'll be
Thank
home
you.
tomorrow night. I'll be making my
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Forward to the recording today. Thank you, Gigi.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking about starting to use the Telegram again just to upload. We'll see. But I'll let y'all know. You'll get it today either way, either on YouTube or Telegram. All right. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.